website that is serverdigital.io, and I thought I should share with you guys how to do sort of like an on-page site audit and create a report from that. Now, there are various tools that you can use to do your SEO, sort of like Ahrefs, SEMrush, most SEO, and also SEObility. And right now I'm on SEObility, which is the sort of like SEO crawling tool or audit tool that I'm using at the moment. And we want to create, now I've created a project for serverdigital.io, which is the new website that I'm working on for the agency. And we want to sort of like assume that, Server Digital is our client. Now, how do you come up with sort of like a report on how the website is performing, what needs to be optimized, and potential opportunities for optimizations, etc. And you simply need to start a project on SEObility, and then once you've done that, simply crawl. So we'll start a new crawl for the website, and you can see immediately it starts to crawl the website, and you have to give it a few minutes. Now, sometimes it may take a much longer time depending on how many sort of like how many pages are on your website. At the moment it shows we have probably around 13 or 14 pages on the website that can be checked and are indexed as well. So we'll wait and see what happens. It should not take really much a long time. As you can see, it's 75% almost done. And you can do this on any other SEO software that you have. Not only SEObility, you can do it on Ahrefs, Moz, you can do it on Ubersuggest, etc. And when you have a client and you're trying to sort of like show them what's going on the website and what needs to be corrected, or let's say you have a team of SEOs in your agency or in your business, this is one of the reports that they can use to work on your website, see what's really happening on your website, being able to pinpoint sort of like the opportunities for optimizations and work on that. And that's why it's quite important that you have sort of like an SEO software. You don't necessarily need to have one, because I know there are SEOs that tend to do everything very, very manual. Still works, but software simply make work easier on your end. And here, once everything's done, we can see our on-page tech and metadata, structure, content, backlinks report. Sort of like how many backlinks do we have, how many of the backlinks are a follow or are no follow, etc. And it was sort of like the top level, referring top level domains .com, .net, .co.uk. I believe if you use Ahrefs and other SEO tools, you can also see like countries top level domains as well, etc. So you can sort of like see here the referring domains and pages that are linking to the website, and their link rating or domain rating or etc. And the anchor text, Server Digital, here it's empty, probably an image or something. Also here it's Sift Group X, which we did a 301 redirect some few weeks ago before starting this website, serverdigital.io, etc. So let's wait and see. And here you can also check rankings if you're tracking any sort of keywords that you're using or you're trying to rank for. As you can see, I have a bunch of keywords already listed that I want to check their rankings with a time as we optimize the website. The website is only just maybe a month old, even less than that. Bearing in mind that it has taken me quite some time to sort of like create the website and sort of like the design work, etc. This might take a little bit time, as I can see. So I'll simply not keep you guys waiting. I'd rather show you guys what's going on after the crawling is done. So see you guys in a minute. So we are done crawling, and as you can see, sort of like the optimization score, etc., plus 2% change and 20% change since the first crawl update. Now, as we mentioned, we're going to look at now how do you create now a report for your clients. Now, with the solution that I'm using at the moment SEO Ability, as you can see, and I'm not in any way affiliated to them. Just to mention that it's a tool that I use. I also use Ahrefs, or simply have started to use Ahrefs at the moment, trying to get used to using it. But with this, you can upload your logo, and then let's say we want to do a complete export. So how many pages is that? Around 20 pages. Display optimization hints in the exported document. Create PDF document, and this shouldn't take a long time. Should be done any time from now. Or you can simply use any other SEO software that to do the same thing, even for your clients. Like I've mentioned, Ahrefs and SEMrush, etc. Oh, now we are done. So we simply open. All right, and then here you have it, your report. It's around 41 pages, and you can see overall score 41%, etc. And you can check, it sort of highlights where the different optimization opportunities are, and some of the problems your website might have that you might not get to see at first hand if you're simply looking at a website and looking at with your bare eyes and trying to figure out optimization opportunities, etc. Some of the things you might surpass your vision, and that's why it's sometimes it's good to have a tool that you can rely on, that provides you with in-depth information about what's really going on your website. As you can see right here, it shows one of the technical problems. 2 pages have duplicate page titles, meaning I have to look into that. Why do they have duplicate page titles? Is the same page being indexed twice, or what's really going on? The average response time of your pages is very high. You have to look at maybe probably CSS files, and maybe have too large of images on the website, etc. Only 14 pages that can be indexed by search engines were found. That is not really, I'm not really cautious about that. Now, one of the things that there might be some pages that are being blocked by either robot.txt or maybe from the use of canonical URLs. But since it's a new website, there's no canonicalization that I've done on the website. So one of the things that I might have to look into is how robot.txt is functioning on the website, just to be a bit sure. But also at the same time, I can use Google Search Console to sort of check which pages are indexed, and if there's any error on Google Search Console, or simply head on to Google and type in site:/serverdigital.io, and I can actually see all the pages that are indexed on Google and how they appear together with the titles and meta description, etc. So it's, yes, it shows that it's very important, but it's something that I can easily do, and I'm not really aware of that since it's a new website, and I don't believe I have a lot of problems to deal with indexing, etc. We found pages with robot meta tag, no follow. 12 pages have problems with H1 headings. It's something I can look at as well. So simply just a list of things that you might want to look into. Tech and meta, your metadata, etc. What else we have? Information about structure, content, pages with only few paragraphs, 5 pages. And you don't necessarily need to optimize to 100%. It's not really necessary, and sometimes it can also sort of affect the whole user experience, because if you think, let's say, of pages with only a few paragraphs, you might find maybe it's the contact page or maybe the about page where not necessarily a lot of information needs to be written or put on those pages. So trying to put as much content as possible, let's say on a contact page, where it's simply on a contact page, you simply want to give sort of your location together with your phone number, email, etc., and maybe your social media kit or links, etc., on how people can find you. So not necessarily people want to read a lot of stuff on the content page, so it's not even that necessary, and that's why you can't necessarily optimize to 100%, or if you do that, you might end up hampering the whole user experience, it's not really that necessary. Pages with little text, pages with duplicate paragraphs. So it simply shows what's really going on the website, and also it gives you links to for the things you need to check into. What's this about? Problems, pages with problematic page titles. Yeah, either they're too long or they're too short, or here they say word repetition, the word digital appears twice. It's not necessarily a problem. It's not something that I might really change. Maybe here, serverdigital.io, contact career, page titles, career, server digital. Not really something that I might also change. Maybe the meta description, because I believe this is a new page. The career page is a new page that I'm working on, and so there's not really a lot of work put into. I don't think it has a meta description, so it's one of the things I might want to look into. So simply you get all the links and whatever is going on. For example, here the meta description is just too long. It's not really necessary. I have to look into that, etc. So you got to know all that information, and you can actually show, if you have a client, you can actually show them what's really going on their site, what needs to be changed, etc. Some of the optimization opportunities. That is when it comes on page SEO. Or if you have a marketing team, it's they can use this sort of like to create like a roadmap on how to work on the optimization, on who does what and what is done when, and prioritize what's more important, what needs like immediate attention, compared to maybe other factors of optimization that might not necessarily need a lot of attention towards the beginning, or something that can also be neglected as well. So simply this is a way sort of like how you can sort of like do like an on-site audit. And exactly here, issues with file sources, and you can see which file sources are huge and are costing a lot of loading time, etc. And you can actually sort of like either try and cache them or remove them completely, or minify them, try to find a solution on how to make them as small as possible, or remove them in the process. Exactly. So pretty much that's it. If you have any questions, make sure to write them down in the comment section below. I'll make sure to answer each and every questions that you have when it comes to doing an on-page audit on an SEO software, and how to present your audit to a client so that they understand really what's going on with the website, and what exactly you're working on, and because SEO tends to be not many people understand what SEOs do, and sometimes you have to really show them the kind of work that you're putting into the website. And it's really important that you create sort of like this kind of reports, and you file them, and you can show them with time how things have been improving over time, so that they can actually see the amount of work you put in there. Because SEO is not a one-time thing. It's not something that you do today and you forget about it. It's something that's on an ongoing process. You need to work on it throughout, and find optimization opportunities. Sometimes it might be, let's say, updating your content. Like I mentioned, I talked about the other website, that is themarketingpodcast.live, which is the podcast website, and there's a lot of optimization that has to go into the meta titles and meta descriptions, simply to work on the click-through rate of the website, because the website is getting thousands and thousands and thousands of impressions, but the click-through rate is not something that I'm really happy with. And it has a lot of work, because I have over close to, I think, around 400 pages, and it is a lot of work that has to go in there. But also, not only that, when it comes to creating a report, you can also create a report on the keywords that you're tracking as well, using the SEO software or solution that you have for your agency, or for yourself as a digital or as a SEO freelancer, etc. Keyword tracking is also quite important, because the same thing you do when you're doing, let's say, a PPC campaign, you also do the same with an SEO campaign, trying to sort of like show your client organically how they're performing for how they're ranking for certain keywords, over time. And by the way, speaking of ranking organic keywords, Google released an update on the search algorithm over the weekend. And if you're new to SEO, because I'm guessing a lot of people might have their website hit out, I was on a Facebook page, and a lot of people are complaining about their websites being hit really really badly, and some are actually celebrating the website is now performing really really well. If you're new to all of this, just take your time, understand, look at what's going on, and look at the update, what really went on, etc. You can also listen to the podcast, or watch some of the videos that we have on the platform and see exactly what's going on and learn from that, because SEO is something I always talk about it. It's best that you practice white hat, because playing with practicing black hat or gray hat, it's just a matter of time before Google hits back at you. It might take some time, and Google is always aware of everything that you're doing on your website in terms of SEO. So it's something that you might want to be very very keen on. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, make sure to write them down in the comment section below, and also reach out to me on the website or on the email address info@savadigital.io. But until then, see you guys on the next update.